This is Chuck Worley with the 757 House Whisperer Show. Every Wednesday night for this entire 2024 season. This is our last show of the year, I should say, last show of the year. We have come up with a pretty cool idea that we are going to blast out some great clips from the last 12 months of our show. Some great things that we have helped a lot of people this year. I get comments all the time, every week, someone coming up to me, thanking me for coming up with the show and helping people in the 757 in our backyards, helping them with their problems with their houses, from painting to roofing to siding to crawl spaces to ductwork to heating and air conditioning. Pretty much all the different things that we do to help people on a weekly basis, giving you guys an opportunity to call in and ask questions about your houses. So I want to introduce us. I am the founder and host of the 757 House Whisperer Show. I am Chuck Worley. I also own Worley's Home Services. We do heating and air conditioning, plumbing, ductwork, electrical, crawl space encapsulation, spray foam insulation. Houses talk to me. I'm a building science geek and just have been fixing houses in this area for over 25 years. I have got a group of people that I trust, some specialists, kind of specialist hosts, I call them co-hosts. Justin Murphy has been fantastic. He has been with Pyramid Roofing for almost 20 years and has done a great job for us answering questions about problems and solar and roofing, and he is a fantastic part of our team. Mike Davenport with CVP Custom Vinyl Windows and Doors. Mike has been a friend of mine for over 30 years. He is great with any doors and windows. They actually have a manufacturing plant right in Newport News, Virginia, which I think is just fantastic to have a plant right here in your backyard. This stuff's not being made in China. It's right here by folks in our area, supporting our industry, our 757. We have Albin with Albin Co. Remodeling homes and new construction. He has been a friend of mine for over 20 years. He actually is doing a remodel in my house. So obviously I trust him a lot because I am happy he is keeping my fiance happy with this new remodel. Cindy Raw with Alpha Pest Solution. She's any varmints. She's the only woman you know with the license to kill. She has some great clips and some funny stuff that we're going to get you guys tonight. And then Jack Keller, he owns Legacy Painting. Great. He's our young lad of the group. He's 25 years old, just hired his 6th employee, trying to bust a couple records this year. He's doing fantastic, getting ready to rent his own space now, building, and we're really proud of him. He's really grown up a lot this past year and having fun hanging out with the old folks. He's actually a listener, so he will learn a lot this year. So, and next few years to come. So I'm going to just kind of introduce everybody like I just did. I'm going to let you guys know. Please call us anytime at the 757 House Whisperer Show number, 757-955-9415. You can text us anytime, and we will respond to you or leave a message on that phone number. I do want to thank you guys for listening to us this past year. Thank you for all the kind words, all the Facebook posts, all the wonderful things that you guys have said about my co-host and myself, and actually a couple contractors, even fellow contractors, thanking us for warning homeowners and giving them public service announcements and, helping people understand their house more. Because that's half the battle, right? Is understanding what the problems are. Not symptoms, but the actual problems. Most of the time people call in to the show, they're telling us about the symptoms that they have, which we have to actually tell them what their problems are, not the symptoms, right? So we come up with solutions for the real problem that they're having. So again, this is the 757 House Whisperer Show. We are going to send you guys a whole bunch of clips from the past 12 months of some great answers. And actually, I want to thank everybody for calling in. We have had hundreds of calls that we have responded to this year, and we're just going to bounce a couple of them off of you over the next hour, since this is our last show of the 2024 season. Thank you guys again. We have enjoyed helping you. Hey, looks like we got Horace on the line. Got a question about a driveway.
Hey, buddy, how old is your driveway?
The original part of it was 2014, and then I got a 22 by 20 extension in 2021.
And which part? I guess the 20 by 14 is the one with the rotting joints?
Yeah, well, no, the 22 by 20 is the new one. They did the recess cut release to keep it from cracking, but the original the 2014, which is the longer run of it, has the pressure treated wood joints, and most of the ones nearest to the house where like the gutters empty, the downspouts, they're all rotted. Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, the pressure treated material that we got in 2014 was not the same pressure treated material we got in the 80s. They took arsenic out of it, and it's no longer as good a product. Moisture is the death of it, and rotting out really is quick to happen. There's really not there's really not a way to change it unless you're just really lucky. You can scrape out some of there and be able to force some more down there. But what you can do is clean it out good, the expansion joints, and you can take a Baccarat, which is a product you use to help hold sealant in place, and get a good quality sealant that can be recommended by your local hardware supply type place, and fill those joints, let them set, and that's what they use in buildings, expansion joints they put in buildings, and that will keep the water from going into it, because you don't want water getting underneath the slab. It can cause more problems, lifting and what have you. But
I think it has in one area. There's a giant crack across one of the sections. Yeah. Is that evidence of that?
Yeah, the crack, is that in the old drive or the new drive?
The
crack.
Old drive.
Yeah.
Old drive.
When you a lot of times, guys, when they're doing driveways, the end of the job, and you got to have a good base underneath the driveway. And if you don't have a good base, the driveway is no better than what it sits on. And the 4-inch concrete, that is what normally driveways are, 4 to 5 inches. If it doesn't have a good base, the constant moving in and out over top of it, possibly moving in on top of it before it's had a good setting period to where it gets generate most of its strength, can cause premature cracking, and it may not show up for years, but the cracks are there from the beginning, and they just show up later. And you can't do anything about that. Just you can try sealing them some, but eventually they'll start opening up and give you a problem. And the only way to fix it is to replace it. When you replace it, make sure that the guy puts a good, substantial base under it, because remember, the driveway is no better than the base it sits on. Hope that helps.
It's just like a house foundation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's no better than the house that it's built on. Do you want to go to Gary? All right, let's go to Gary.
Welcome, Gary.
Hey, how are you guys doing? It's good to hear. Good to hear somebody's sane voice on the radio this afternoon. I got 2 questions.
I don't know. I haven't been called sane for a while.
It's been a little while. I don't know if that's a word that goes for construction workers.
That's right. What can we do for you?
Well, I'm trying to be nice. So a couple things. The main reason I call is because I heard you guys a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I don't know, the whispering thing, and I need some help with windows, with casement windows. I've got a house that was built in '86 near the water. The casement windows are all rotting out. I've gone to the big boxes. I still get robocalls for all these window companies that want to come and just basically tell you, if you sign tonight, we'll give you 50% off. I don't trust any of these guys, okay? Yeah, this window business thing has taken, it's like going to a used car salesman.
It's pretty horrible. Yeah. I guess you did hear me and Mike Davenport a couple weeks ago. We were talking about that, and he spent a lot of time on that. Look, if you're good at what you do, I mean, I feel like we're really good at what we do. I don't have to spend 4 hours in your house to tell you. I just don't. I'm going to show you a great product. This is what we do. My guys are not in houses that long. Like, we're coming in. We're going to show you what needs to be done. This is what needs to be done. Do your due diligence. That's fine. But we're going to show you the best product, a great price for a great job. And, you know, I mean, you always got to worry about Bubba and Skeeter coming in there. And, I mean, comes in. I mean, some guy said Chuck in a truck. I don't like that one because my name's Chuck. But I mean,
Dan in a van.
Dan in a van. I like that one a lot better. Yeah. So, but I mean, if you're good at what you do, and you know those guys trying to close you to do the job the next day. I mean, if they're not busy right now in construction, I don't want them in my house. No. Like it's, you know, there is a little bit of a backlog, you know, but.
There is.
Yeah, but Mike Davenport is your man. I've known him for, 30 years. I've been in a men's group with him for probably 20 years. You're going to get exactly what he tells you you're going to get, or he's going to put a foot in somebody's butt. The greatest part about him is he actually owns the manufacturer, and he's one of the partners with Barry that actually manufactures the window. So guess what? If something's off and they did the measurements wrong or whatever, I mean, he doesn't have to wait for China to send him a new one. Like they just go back to Newport News and build it. You know, so
so that's part of the question because I know what I need, right?
Okay.
And I think the money's made, you know, all on the framing and the labor, and the windows somebody knows how to get for pretty dirt cheap. So we want good windows, but the issue really is, I would say 90% of the work is reframing. You know, because we've got rotted out framework, which I'm sure a ton of people listening to this right now have the same problem here in Virginia Beach, right? It's
yes.
You know, a lot of the homes were built in the 60s, 70s, 80s. And so, you know, they're all the homes that have windows, especially if you're near the water, you know, they're rotting out. So really what I need is somebody who's a good framer. I had a guy, he got really sick apparently. I never got to see him again. He was like the window guy. But it sounds like you guys have your own like builder, you know, framers, and it sounds like you also have some good connections with good window folks. Because, I mean, I know you can get, you know, the Anderson windows. There's at least 4 different brands. You guys know which ones they are.
They are.
And they're all trying to sell you the window brand. And they're
well,
all
here's
trying to sell you,
you're really
right.
on the right. You're really on the right track because it's the same in roofing. It's the same in air conditioning. It's the same in windows. It has zero to do with. I mean, the product is important. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. It is important. You don't want to buy a bad product, but I mean, it's, you know, even if you go to what's that thing that they grade certain things.
Angie's List.
No, it's the old stuff from the 80s and 90s.
I'm only 83 here.
Oh,
so.
yeah, I know. But like, you know, we'd get the Consumer Reports. Dang, I couldn't think of it. Yeah. Sorry, you guys
even I've heard of that.
I mean, you're young.
Yeah.
So anyway, Consumer Reports, they were like, if you really look at it, when they did heating and air, it was like 3% difference in this product versus that product. Yet it was Trane, it was Rude, it was Carrier, but they're all like 2 or 3% better than the other one. So it wasn't like 48% better. Like, you know what I'm saying? So everything has to do with the installation, right? So if you don't install it properly, I have gone back on brand new 20 SEER, tens of thousands of dollar systems installed improperly. You know, or they install it on a duct system. They'll install a 3-ton unit on a 2-ton duct system, or a 4-ton unit on a, you know, hey, this guy gave me a better price for he gave me a 3-ton and then upgraded me to 4-ton for free. I'm like, okay, well, that guy just got you.
It sounds like that laying around.
Yeah, I mean, that's something he had in the shop, right? So my point is the installation is more important than the actual product itself. That's why we drug test. That's why we background check. That's why I don't have knuckleheads working for us. Pyramid's a respected business. You know, I mean, how many guys, and I'll talk to my guys about this. We just had a company meeting. We all, we met over at a bowling alley, and, you know, all the guys are all in the same place. I want character, integrity, doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. That's who I want working for me, working with me. I tell them I want to be proud of who's working for me, but I also want you guys proud of who you're working for, and getting those people, winners like winners.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
absolutely.
I can't tell you, when I was working for other companies and the guy's sitting there driving the truck and smoking a doobie on the way to the truck, I'm like, I'm done here. Let me out. I'm on Route 17 going down the road, and he goes, What? I said, stop the truck. Yeah. Let me out. This is my second day at this company.
No, that's
you got to pull over. He goes, man, it's traffic. I said, stop the truck. Get me out of this truck. I got 2 kids to feed. I'm not getting fired.
No,
like, you lost your mind. Now it's different now, but it's the craziness of drugs now. But it's crazy that the standard of employee drops when the standard of I heard something the other day. It's what you allow, right? We have a standard. Exactly. We have a Worley standard, the chief standard, being raised by that chief. You're going to do the right thing. You got to get the right people working for you. And the way you do that is have standards in your company. And that's why I've surrounded myself with Pyramid. I've surrounded myself with other companies that I feel like have the same standard that I do. Let's do the right job. Are we perfect? Man, when you have 80 employees, something's going to go crazy. You have 80 people in the same place.
It happens.
But, it's doing the right job, Now, going back to exactly what I'm talking about with you is, does glass leak? When you touch the glass, does the glass leak? No, it's the caulk around it, the installation of the window, the making of the window. No, the glass is made in a shop. The window is made in a shop. Air conditioners are made in manufacturing plants. They're made in these places where there's not a lot of failure. Where's the failure?
Oh, it's always installation.
It's always installation, right?
Well, Chuck, I'm sure you just like us too. I mean, we don't, over at Pyramid Roofing, we don't really have a high turnover rate on our technicians. A lot of our technicians are, 5, 7, 10, 15-year employees. I mean, you got to take care of the guys, and the guys got to do the right work to be able to stay on board that long.
I would agree. I mean, you have been there, 15 years?
16 will be August 1st.
And you got your choice where you could go.
I'm not here. I'm not here to brag.
You're pretty good.
But I'm all right. I do okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, Pyramid, they definitely, we set ourselves apart from everybody else. We want to do, basically, it's the right way or it's no way. I mean, honestly, if it's not good enough for my house, why should it even be an option for a customer?
Big Jack, you got any things that have interesting that happened this week on the job site that you might think could help a customer or, help our listeners with something that, somebody painted over oil, somebody painted any kind of crazy thing that you ran into this week? Or Mike?
Why don't you tell us what you did on that one for my buddy Kurt, a proper way to prep it?
Yeah, I can cover both of those. First, Chuck, something that we see a good amount of is some of these older homes, especially like Hilton Village and just some of these older homes that have that oil-based paint. People think, they don't even think about it, which I completely understand. They just kind of throw some paint on it, which within, almost immediately the paint's going to start to fail and cause more issues and just become a larger expense. So an easy way to kind of avoid that we see is go to your local Sherwin-Williams, Walmart, Home Depot, and get some either paint thinner or denatured alcohol. You can get some paint thinner, put it on a rag, rub it on the paint. If any of the paint comes off, it's oil-based. Or if you use denatured alcohol and it comes off, then it's latex. So just an easy way to avoid that and get the right primers and paint it. Mike sent us a referral to a good buddy of his and was a phenomenal client to work with, super easy. He built a walk-in closet. He had a bunch of custom trim put in, some shiplap on the walls, and stuff like that. It just, you got to go an extra step and just making sure you prep everything right. There's a ton of nail holes, caulking, all the new trim, new sheetrock. So getting the right primers on there, getting the right putty in the holes, and make sure everything's sanded. So we put a coat of paint on everything. We gave everything a light sanding, especially with like trim and shiplap. When it's on the walls like that, it's really a good idea. Just give it a light sanding. It makes it real smooth to touch, nice to look at, and then using just a good high quality top coat paint. to put over top of that. Gives it nice durability, dries real hard, and looks real good for the years to come.
The 757 House Whisperer Show. We are here to answer your questions about your house, from the roof to the crawl space, any issues in between. We are looking to help you figure out your problems with your house and figure out why that you are having issues. I am Chuck Worley, the host of the show. We do with Worley's Home Services. We do HVAC, plumbing, electrical, crawl space, insulation, spray foam, pretty much you name it. Houses talk to me. John, he's been holding on from Gloucester, Virginia.
Yeah, hey, I live Gloucester Point, and I bought this house a while back, and it was built in 1980, I believe. And I think it's a truss-built house. And every winter, the kitchen sheetrock lifts up off of the cabinets, and then when it gets to be summer, they come back down. And I heard Joe Troiani talking about it. WNAS used to have a show in the morning, and he was the partner. And he said it's truss lift. And I just like to know, is there anything I can do to stop that?
I just need a little clarification. You're saying this is the wall sheathing, or the ceiling sheathing?
Ceiling. The ceiling lifts
so you
up.
get a little bit of a crack, but above the wall, the upper wall cabinets and the ceiling?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, and you're saying you see it as a gap in the summer, but you don't see it in the winter.
No, that's opposite.
Opposite.
In the winter, it goes up. So I believe that it's when things cool off, the wood or something shrinks. So it's lifting up, and then as things heat up, it drops down.
I have a hard time thinking it's the actual density of the wood or moisture in the wood. I mean, if your house is really, if your wood is moving that much, then I would say you've got too much moisture in the house. My guess is most of this is probably occurring in the ground, whether it's you've got too much moisture coming off the roof, whether it's rainwater just trapped, right in the soil around your foundation, and just causing the ground to heave or shrink. Chuck, what do you think?
Is he talking about at the ceiling, or is he talking about?
Yeah, he's saying above the top of the wall cabinets.
That's what I thought he said.
And the ceiling, that there's a crack there, and I'm like, I don't see that could be a problem with your roof trusses. We specialize in trusses, and so I just don't see that as part of the issue.
I mean, because if they're the code, they were made the code. I mean,
you do
there's
get
no
some
way.
deflection, but it's not going to be
Not that much.
You're not going to get that much, and it's not going to be. You're not going to know. It's not going to be that noticeable if you have any. I could be wrong, but my guess is it's a moisture problem in the ground. You got gutters on your house?
Yeah, gutters and downspouts.
Yes, I do.
You have, and do you have any kind of French drain built in, getting that water away?
Don't need it. Where I live, it's all sandy, and the last time I had somebody inspect underneath, they said a termite couldn't live there because it's just so dry.
Yeah,
It's
but
all
that
sandy.
doesn't mean you don't want to get the water away from the house.
Yeah. But if you're having issues with water, that's absolutely incorrect, because if it's groundwater, you will have issues with termites. There is nobody in this area that's immune to termites. I'll tell you that. Yeah. So, I mean,
moisture,
we do.
not moisture.
Right.
Yeah. So
because moisture will invite the termites. So, free inspections here.
Yeah. So your enemy is that water. You want to make sure you get it away from the house.
We had an in-ground pool put in just a few years ago, and they dug down 8 feet deep and didn't hit any water at all. So,
did you?
But that pump could be the problem. The pump to that pool could be the problem.
We're not talking about just like you dig a hole and it fills up with water. The ground will heave, and so But we're also listening. You know, as Chuck says, your house will talk to you. If you're saying that the ground is really sandy and there is no moisture in the ground, then maybe we're barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah, definitely we need to come out and take a look and see what's going on.
Absolutely.
There's just some houses that we just have to do that because every house is different. I mean, you'll have houses in Norfolk that are just rotting out, and then right next door, the house has been there for 100 years, and it's perfect. Yeah. Like it's got, what do you call that wood? Perforated wood, where you can't drive a nail through it. It's so old.
Yep.
I don't know a name for
petrified.
that.
Is it petrified?
Oh,
is that the right word?
Dang hard.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like the next door neighbor's got petrified wood that you can't, cut, with the handsaw. But so
John, I would be
different.
glad to call and talk to you a little bit further about that. See if we can't come up with something that maybe you can start to poke and pry at. And
I mean, there's obviously an issue. I mean, because that's not normal, John. So you're great. Thank you for calling because you're not the only person with this issue. So you're really helping other people by calling in and asking that question.
Although houses talk to us, sometimes it takes a long time for that conversation to unfold.
It's kind of like, maybe it's like your wife, you're not listening, right?
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute now. Or it takes multiple.
You're not listening to your wife.
Or it takes multiple companies.
That up.
Or it takes multiple companies to come out and take a look and actually address the problem instead of just trying to treat the symptom.
Absolutely. So I meant you not listening to your wife. It's the house.
Careful there.
Houses is talking to you,
female
but you're not listening.
I'm at fault for that. So, John, thanks for calling in. I'll give you a shout.
It looks like we got Jim over in Gloucester Point. You got a rodent problem in Gloucester.
That's correct.
So tell us about that.
Well, I wasn't sure what it was, but I saw this animal out picking leaves off of area near my line in the middle of the day, picking leaves off the foliage off the vines, and it went back in, and I started reading about it. I understand those animals are basically nocturnal, but I saw it in the daytime. And so did another friend about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Was it a rat? So you saw it, so do you know what it was?
No, I thought it was a groundhog first.
Okay.
It's much bigger than a rat.
Bigger, okay.
And bigger than the groundhog, bigger than the squirrel. I thought it was a squirrel first. Then I did not have my field glasses with me, so I didn't get a good view. I've since got my field glasses out, but I have not seen it since then. Another friend was here. He saw it about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He thought it was a groundhog first of all, too.
All right. Did you have any of their droppings around? Because we can do an identification based upon the droppings if you have them. Jim, let's do this, Jim. If you see them again, get a plastic baggie, gather them up for me. I'm happy to come take a look at that. There's no charge for me to come look, and we're happy to come out there, take a look, see what you got going on, and then make recommendations for treatment or removal depending upon what you've got.
Where I've seen it, put it in a plastic bag, call you. You'll come out with no charge, identify what it is from the droppings, recommend what I do next.
Exactly. That's exactly correct. And we're happy to do that, for termites or fungus or whatever you've got going on. All my inspections are free, everybody out there. So if you've got something going on, call in. Let's talk about what you've got. Let's get one of my good people, and we're a family-owned and operated company. So you'll see somebody in my family out there or me myself, and we'll come out. We'll figure out what you got going on, make the recommendations. There's no charge unless we actually do the work for you.
Okay, Sandy. Well, I appreciate it.
Cindy, why don't you take a few minutes and kind of tell about, thank you, Jim. Why don't you kind of tell them about your family business?
Yeah, it's family business. Started the business almost 15 years ago because there was a man who told me I couldn't do it. So you know how that works for me. I'm going to prove to you how I can do it in 10 different ways and how I can do it better than a man. So that's what started me. God blessed me with 5 sons. I have 4 daughter-in-laws. I have 13 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren. So at any given time, one of my sons is an electrician. One son does HVAC. One does He's a welder. So at any given time, one or more of my sons might be doing some things for me. I've got one that does my inspections. I've got a daughter-in-law that does pest control for me. So we're completely family owned and operated. I am the mom. So the buck stops right here. So if something is a problem, there's something doesn't go your way, you can always call me and I will take care of that. We do everything from termites to fungus to moisture barriers to inspections for real estate. So if you're buying or selling a home or getting ready to do that, we're happy to come out. We'll give you an inspection at no charge to make sure you know what's happening with your home prior to putting it up for sale. So if you've got some things you need to do, then we can work around, find you the best people to do it for the best price so that you're not, sitting 2 days before closing and somebody looks at you and says, now you need $10,000 to fix your house. So get this stuff done ahead of time and it saves you money in the long run. Also the company that if we see something underneath your house when it's going on. So if I go under and I see leaking ductwork or something like that, I give Chuck a call. Chuck, right, leaking pipes. If someone's got a bathroom leak or something like that, I am the company that will tell you everything that I see that's going on under your home so that you can get ahead of it. And so you're not looking at a big repair bill down the road because it wasn't addressed when it happened.
Well, it's cheaper to fix a repair than it is a full installation.
Right. Once you've got all kinds of wood damage and everything because it was left unfixed for, years.
And the rule is wood just doesn't go bad. It gets wet and then goes bad. Right. So, well, tell them about the house that talked to you this week.
So we did probably, my daughter-in-law and I are usually together when we do things. And yesterday we did 7 inspections yesterday. That's a lot for one day, but and a good deal of them were ocean view over in Norfolk, so you expect to find some things there anyways. But moisture issues, absolutely. And so we opened up the crawl space door, and I opened up this crawl space door, and there's stuff everywhere. And I'm just not really unusual, but I stick my head in a little bit, and I turn it to the right, and about 4 floor joists in, there's a great big help sign on a floor joist. Like that house actually did cry for help. And there was one right beside it.
They wrote it out to you.
Yes, and it was in white chalk or crayon, whatever they had used, wherever that house had access to. But 2 floor joists yelling help with exclamation points. So I see you. Between Chuck and I, if it happens in a crawl space, we've seen it. But there are things like that are going on. We're happy to go under there. We'll let you know. And the first thing I'm saying to this homeowner was, your house is crying for help, dude. Let's get this house taken care of before it's big money.
We got Jake over in Virginia Beach. He has a new heat pump, and it's struggling. Are you there, buddy?
Yep. Put a new heat pump in about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, and if it's above 90 degrees, it struggles to keep it down. It gets down to about 78 is all we can get it to, and it's running all day.
How big is your house, Jake?
About 2,500 square feet.
And do you know what tonnage air conditioner you have?
I want to say it's a 3.5 ton.
Yeah, that's on the struggle bus as far as being a big enough unit. You don't have to say their name, but I mean, you had a licensed contractor put it in, or just a buddy?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
So, yeah, I don't like to use bad names on the thing, so I just to attack the problem. So even if you do the old, now again, we do room by room load calculations, CAD drawings. So if you had a 1,000 square foot house that had normal windows, normal insulation, bad insulation, good insulation, all that. So 1,000 square foot house is going to, we'll call it a 2-ton house, right? So you can get about old rule of thumb, like 1970s rule of thumb before computers. You have a 1,200 square foot house. You should be able to handle that with a 2-ton unit. Again, please know these are round numbers. Don't anybody use this. What really needs to happen is a CAD drawing, load calculation, rotation of house, east-west, location. Where are the windows at on the house? So what I want to explain to you, if you have 1,000 square foot house with average windows, average doors, average insulation, a 2-ton should handle that house. It's about 600 square foot per ton. So new construction, it can be even better than that, right? So that's just kind of a rule of thumb to see if we're in the ballpark, which you're close, but not close. We're a couple away. But like, I like to explain it like this. If I have a 1,200 square foot house that's built like a sunroom, that means I got glass on all four sides. I got sliding glass doors on all four sides. Do you think I can keep that house comfortable with a 2-ton unit? The answer is no, because you can't beat God, right? So all that glass. Now let's do the same house, 1,200 square foot house, and I've got 1 inch, 2 inch of insulation in my attic. The house is like a wind tunnel, and I have average houses, average windows, average doors, no new windows like Mike would put in there because that helps drop the load. So is that house going to be able to be handled by a 2-ton unit? Probably not, right? So that's why I say every house is different. So I like to kind of explain it like that. So, but yeah, 600 square foot is about the average. You said 2,500. I don't have a calculator near me, but that's what's 600 times 4 is 24, right? So 2,400. So you're probably talking closer to a 4-ton unit versus a 3.5 ton. So you may, we probably just need to come out and do like a CAD drawn load calculation on the house and kind of make sure you got the right tonnage. But you may have to supplement. Do you have like a room over the garage or any kind of?
We do. We have a room over the garage and a sunroom. It's a ranch house, and then it has that room over the sunroom, or room over the garage,
and
then that sunroom.
That room's always hot, isn't it?
Sorry.
It is. It's always.
A couple of things we could do is we do attic retrofits, which we come in, suck out all the old insulation, and that includes the old squirrels, like the last question. We suck them out too, and they're dead in the insulation. Suck out the insulation, spray foam, seal the house, put in R50 insulation. That can help us bring the load down on the house so that we can bring that temperature down in the summer. We could encapsulate the crawl space, which would stop some of the heat loss and heat gain from the crawl space. Because the natural draft of a house, if you have an open crawl space, that heat's getting into your house. So there are some things that we could do to kind of tighten up. Being that you already have a 2-year-old system, I don't want to tell you to rip that thing out and put a new one in. I mean, that might be the only answer, but I'd like to kind of work towards other stuff that probably needs to be done anyway. Spray foam, sealing up the house, that's not a bad thing, right? It's making our house more energy efficient. Maybe putting a mini split in the room over the garage, that could maybe help supplement. So you could take that square footage off the house. We could disconnect that ductwork to the room over the garage. And, so I probably shouldn't say it to all the cat lovers, but I mean, there's 6 different ways to skin a cat, right? So there's a whole bunch of things that we can do to make it better, to utilize the heat pump that you had, because I don't want you to punch me in the head if I tell you got to rip it out and put a new one in. So,
well, one thing too that you might think about that Chuck could help you with. When was your house built?
87.
Okay. Well, I tell you one thing that's changed a lot since 87, because I've been building houses since 1973. You probably got 1 supply line, maybe 2 in that bonus room over the garage. Is that correct or incorrect?
There's 2, but the airflow is very.
Okay. Is there an air return in that room? It's probably not.
2x2. There's a 2x2 in there.
Okay, well, the thing that you got to be sure of is that one of your lines didn't get crushed. If you got low airflow, the line could have been crushed, and that's why you're not getting enough airflow. But those bonus rooms over those garages had to have a lot of TLC, sealing up everything tight, insulating it properly. I started out before I bought into the window company as a builder, and I still build houses. And Chuck is absolutely correct. Spray foam, for instance, I do that around receptacles and outside walls. I put foam in behind all the water lines, and I try not to put a water line on the outside wall, but if it's got one, I wrap it up in closed cell foam. You just got to do, because what you can't see is some of the most important parts of your house. Chuck does all of those things. Nobody grows in a crawl space. I mean, most of the time they're afraid to go in a crawl space, except for Cindy. She loves going to crawl space. But you close up the air spots that can leak. You got to get a great electrician, a great plumber, a great heating guy, the insulating guy, because once that sheetrock goes up, you don't ever see any of that stuff again. And it's the old thing, the beauty's only skin deep, ugly goes clean to the bone.
Yeah. It's when I pulled the sheetrock off of my walls, man, I could see outside. Like there was 1-inch gaps on those boards. I could literally see people walking by my house when I pulled the sheetrock off. I'm like, well, no kidding, this thing is hard as heck. I only have a 1,400 square foot house, and I had a 3-ton unit on my house because I had no insulation. I had no, what do they say? The plumber's house always got a water leak. The heating and air guy's house is always hot. So it's, we're fixing up the house now to fix all that, to remedy all that. But my point is there's so many things that we could do to make the house more energy efficient. I think, like I said, the biggest thing I'd probably look at is maybe a mini split in that room over the garage. But I would definitely look at spray foam and insulation and tightening up that house so that we're not losing that heat and air conditioning.